My name is Zak Wojnar, and this is my show. Maybe you've seen some other videos on this channel, but I'm doing something a little different for this one. It's not an interview. It's not a video essay either. Those are hard. But something came up in the realm of video games, and I have some things I want to say about it. In recent years, we've seen an epidemic of video game studios not making games. On PlayStation's side, their whole live service initiative kind of fell on its face. Naughty Dog had a Last of Us multiplayer game, cancelled. Ben Studio had a multiplayer game, cancelled. Bluepoint, same deal. Yeah, Helldivers 2 was a huge success, but how many games did we lose? Not just the multiplayer games, but the single-player games that these studios would have made if they weren't forced to hitch their horse to a dying trend. A live service game can be tremendously successful, true, but it needs to hit hard and fast out of the gate in order to be a success, or else it's going to crash and burn like Concord, or Marvel's Avengers, or Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, or Anthem, or Foam Stars. Meanwhile, at Xbox, yeah, there's cancellations out the wazoo over there. Perfect Dark, Contraband, Everwild. I still don't believe Fable will be real until it's downloaded onto my Series X. Are any of these games that were canceled grand slam dunks that were guaranteed to sell 10 million units? No. Will Fable sell 10 million units? I'm gonna say probably not. I'm excited for that game and I hope it's massively successful, but in my heart of hearts, I won't bet on it. Overall, things are bad in the video game space right now, all over. Everyone's getting laid off. Not just the video game devs, too. I mean, there's a reason why this is a video and not a written article on Newsweek, you know what I mean? The industry is in desperate need of some good news. Now's the time for some grand slam dunks. Like when Square Enix said, fine, we'll do Final Fantasy VII Remake. Easy money. Grand slam dunk. And a pair of potential game collaboration announcements got me thinking. When there's a video game team-up grand slam dunk, who is helping whom? Grand slam dunk number 1, Obsidian making Fallout. Apparently, Obsidian is working on a Fallout game by direct order of Asha Sharma, the big boss over at Xbox. This is something fans have been asking for ever since Fallout New Vegas became the ultimate cult classic. I'm not going to go over the whole history of Fallout and the relationship between Bethesda and Obsidian and the fundamental differences between New Vegas and every Fallout game made by Bethesda. But up to this point, the status quo was that Bethesda had complete control over Fallout, and Xbox was just there to pay the bills and reap the rewards when Bethesda put out a Fallout game. But that hasn't happened since Fallout 76 way back in 2018. Now, I know that game has had something of a redemption arc in the eyes of many, but it was a complete disaster when it launched, and from what I understand, it just doesn't scratch the Fallout itch. Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and even Fallout 4, as different as those 3 games are, they all scratch the itch to some degree or another. However, given the leadership change at Xbox, it's clear that the status quo wasn't cutting it. I imagine Asha looked at how Bethesda synced up with the Fallout TV show, and she wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed. Why did Bethesda do Oblivion Remastered instead of remastering one of their Fallouts? Fallout's having a moment right now. The Elder Scrolls is evergreen, but it's not in the public consciousness like Fallout is right this second. Oblivion sold really well, but a Fallout New Vegas remaster tied to Season 2 of the show, which is set in New Vegas and basically serves as a sequel to the New Vegas game, that remaster would have sold even better. And why aren't there home console versions of the classic Interplay Fallout games? Any new Fallout game tied to the Fallout show would be a grand slam dunk. As close to zero risk as you can get, but with no ceiling on potential reward. They had that weird Fallout New Vegas Collector's Edition that was just a bunch of tchotchkes, and there's always Fallout 76 updates tied to the show. But you don't need me to tell you about the disaster of the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition and all the crashing on the Switch 2 version, but Bethesda gonna Bethesda. A little synergy does go a long way, but more synergy would go a lot further. Whatever Obsidian is working on, will it be ready in time for Fallout Season 3? I have no clue. But Asha's making moves to get studios to make the games fans want them to make. Is that necessarily a good thing? I don't know. I have no idea. How many people who worked on New Vegas are going to be working on this new Fallout game? I don't know. Stop asking me these questions. But at least it's something. Maybe it's too little too late. But Asha was brought on board to shake things up. And putting Obsidian on a Fallout game and saying to Bethesda, Fallout belongs to Xbox. That's certainly a shakeup. And maybe I'm naive, but my faith in Obsidian is such that I believe if Obsidian makes a Fallout game, it will be a grand slam dunk. But it would have been nice to have it 10 years ago, you know? Part 2, Bungie. The other collab I want to talk about is less concrete. It's apparently a 4chan rumor, and I'm not going to go on 4chan. But it's a 4chan rumor that's been picked up by a bunch of outlets. But I think it's worth getting excited about, or at least whimsically daydreaming about. It's the idea that Bungie, the creators of Halo, Destiny, and Marathon, are making a Borderlands game. On one level, that sounds pretty cool. Destiny and Borderlands are both looter shooters, albeit with completely different approaches to the whole loot aspect of it. Destiny established a template. And while Borderlands is inspired by games like Diablo, it's always felt like a singular experience. If you want to play a game like Destiny, there's plenty of games you can play. If you want to play a game like Borderlands, you have to play Borderlands. But on another level, doesn't it seem like Borderlands is beneath Bungie? Look. I'm a Borderlands fan. I like this series. I like Randy. But I know how easy it is to hate Borderlands. The humor isn't for everyone. The art style isn't for everyone. Randy Pitchford can be a lot. Heaven knows he can be a lot. And if you don't find these factors to be endearing quirks, you probably find them to be egregiously annoying. Shout out to Darumo on the Easy Allies Discord, who gave me the idea for this whole video by saying, quote, I find Borderlands to be pretty bad, but Bungie needs a win. Bungie needs a win. An easy win. Points on the board. A grand slam dunk. As soon as I read that, I thought about one thing. Anger management. The 2003 movie starring Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson. In that order, Adam Sandler in Anger Management has top billing over Jack Nicholson. Doesn't that seem a little weird? Adam Sandler's a huge star, of course, but Jack Nicholson is the greatest actor of all time. He was in Carnal Knowledge and Batman. Both guys were successful Hollywood stars in 2003. Neither Sandler nor Nicholson needed Anger Management, the movie. But it was an easy win, and everyone can do with an easy win now and then. And that brings us to the idea of Bungie doing Borderlands. Back in the Halo days, Bungie was Jack Nicholson. Back during the heyday of Destiny, Bungie was Jack Nicholson. Sometime after the Final Shape expansion, Bungie was no longer Jack Nicholson. In 2026, after the launch of Marathon, I really don't think Bungie is Jack Nicholson anymore. Meanwhile, Borderlands is basically Adam Sandler. It's amassed a legion of fans who are dedicated to the series but don't necessarily play other games. I'd say right now they're in their Adam Sandler Netflix era. Borderlands 4 isn't really part of the broader video game discourse, but it's quietly moved millions of units. There aren't many headlines when a new DLC character or story pack comes out, but the fans know it. They get their news from Randy directly on Twitter or whatever Twitch streamer or YouTube person they follow. Hey, maybe follow me, subscribe, leave a comment. Anyway, Adam Sandler movies came to Netflix where they were successful on the platform without the trades having to report on them or make any kind of box office headlines or even review headlines. Now let's go back to my original question. In a potential collaboration that sees Bungie making a Borderlands game, who is helping whom? Bungie is kinda in a real bad place right now. Marathon, to its credit, was not dead on arrival, so relax with that. But it also doesn't have the kind of traction that Sony surely wants it to have. Destiny 2 is done. Bungie is finally free to make a new game. Remember those Halo campaigns? They were great. Did a Destiny 2 expansion have the same impact as any of those? Even a Halo 3 ODST? Maybe to some people, yes. But if you weren't already on the Destiny 2 train when it left the station, climbing on board mid-ride is a big ask, especially after the whole content vault thing. And Marathon is an extraction shooter. That's not a grand slam dunk. The audience was always going to be limited. In another era, Marathon would be a mode in a bigger game, not the whole game. Maybe that's unfair, but I'd rather have Bungie make awesome games, not live service time sinks. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned that way. But regardless of how you feel about the games Bungie's made post-Halo, there's no denying that they're top of class when it comes to moment-to-moment shooting. It's always fun to shoot bad guys in a Bungie game. And I wish that every 2 years or so we could get a 15-hour game built around Bungie's world-class shooting with tons of wild weapons and varied enemy encounters, where I don't have to get rid of guns I like in favor of using stuff that makes my light level go up. But I digress. Meanwhile, Borderlands 4 has been successful. But I don't think it's been as successful as Borderlands 2 or 3. I'm sure it will ultimately make Gearbox a lot of money. But will it move 20 million units? I don't know. What I do know is Gearbox wants to find a way to make Borderlands a household name. They tried it with the movie. Didn't work. But Bungie, the creators of Halo, making a Borderlands game that's half Borderlands, half Destiny, that'll cause players who don't care about Borderlands to suddenly care about Borderlands. That's your chocolate in my peanut butter, baby. That's my peanut butter in your chocolate. Can you dig it? A collaboration like this would give Borderlands a huge boost of mainstream credibility. And it seems to me like it would be a grand slam dunk easy win for Bungie. And Bungie is in dire need of a grand slam dunk easy win right now. Conclusion. In another world, a collaboration like this would be beneath both companies. But in today's world of global economic uncertainty, or whatever they're calling it, it's time to call in all the favors and play the most crowd-pleasing cards you have. If you can put Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson in a movie together, you do it. You're gonna make money. If you're Microsoft and you bought Bethesda, you can do whatever you want with Fallout. Everyone at Microsoft and Bethesda, even the people who don't play video games, know that the fans want Obsidian to make a Fallout game. So when you need a grand slam dunk, you go over Todd Howard's head and you say, Obsidian, make a Fallout now. And if you're Bungie right now, and your next project isn't a hit, there's a strong chance you're not going to get another project. So why not team up with Gearbox to make a game that's guaranteed to make money? Then you can go back to balancing risk and reward on big swings. Economic headwinds beget safe bets. Lobby the government to implement a universal basic income. Then you can go nuts with some wild game ideas and I'll follow you wherever you want to go. But first, Bungie, baby, remind us why you're the best. And Microsoft, honey, remind us of how much a Fallout game can rock when Bethesda and Obsidian play nice with each other. Remind us why we love playing video games. Okay, that's the show. The article, the episode, whatever this was. I hope you liked it. If you did, leave a like, comment on what you enjoyed and what you thought was stupid. And maybe we'll do it again soon. Goodbye.